The Heat finally making a move. Haven't made any moves since the start of free agency when they brought back Victor Oladipo and Dwayne Dedmon. And yesterday, officially brought back Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin signed a 3-year deal at a little over $20 million. So he got the mid-level exception, the one that won't hard cap the Miami Heat. So he's back, Leroy. Caleb Martin earning himself a multi-year deal. Feel good for that, man. Like that guy was, on a 2-way last year. It's pretty crazy. Like think about this with Caleb Martin. He went from, isn't that cute? Last preseason game, we're gonna start Caleb Martin against his brother. Adorbs. Yeah. We're gonna do a little gimmick, a little photo op, and we'll see what happens. Makes the team on a 2-way deal. And then, thankfully, because COVID had, you hate to say it, COVID, pandemic gives you something positive, but this gave Caleb Martin something positive. Didn't cap his days on 2-way deals. Like they were allowed to have him here for as many days as they wanted to.
So they didn't have to make that decision right away.
They didn't have to make that decision right away. Then they make him on a standard deal. Guys playing, big time minutes throughout the year. No Jimmy at certain points, no Kyle at certain points. So cracking that rotation. Make it a big time impact shot, over 40% from three this year. Super athletic. And look at that. Goes from little cute story in the preseason to getting himself a 3-year deal at a nice number for the Miami Heat. So great. Had to feel great for Caleb Martin yesterday.
Yep. Some would even question, including me, that he's better than his brother.
His brother also got a big time deal this week too. His brother got I think it was 4 years, 32. Right. So there you go. Both Martin brother. Good week for the Martin household.
We had two of the twins who were considered the lesser twins. Right? One of the Morris twins and one of the Martin twins.
Yes, we had what was considered the less of the twins for both of them. But I would say I think Caleb Martin is first of all, Cody Martin. What has he done? Cody Martin.
That's my point.
What has he done? Big Cody Martin.
The league must think he's worth more because he got twice the contract Caleb got.
He got an extra year, and his average is about 1.5 million more per year. So They did.
Yeah.
But you know what? Caleb Martin wanted to be here though.
Believe me, I'm happy with Caleb Martin. You need guys like that. They've always had, from the Derrick Jones Juniors to that guy who could come off the bench that's extremely athletic.
Yep.
He just got a little more size than my man.
Little bulk.
Huh?
A little more stout.
Yes. So good for him. For me, the offseason was a success when they re-signed Oladipo.
Well, here's an interesting thing with Oladipo. Can you give me Caleb Martin? This was his last day of media, and it said flat out that he wanted to be back with Miami. It was important for him to come back to Miami, and that came to fruition yesterday.
Being open-minded, but I want to be here. You know what I mean? I've got better here, and I believe I'll get better here. Obviously, I want the situation just want a great situation no matter what. But I just think that how close I've gotten with the guys and the people here and how much better and more confident I've been here. And I feel like my team and my staff believes in me and believes that I'm going to get better here. So obviously being open-minded is going to free agency, have to be, and it's my first experience with that. But I want to be here. I love being here. I want to be here. So that's all I got on my mind right now until I see what happens or whatever type of experience I'm going to get in free agency. So
tremendous. And so that was 6 weeks ago, and now he is officially re-signed to the Miami Heat on a multi-year deal. So good for Caleb yesterday. But yeah, so this is an interesting thing with Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo is now not on a 1-year deal. He's technically on a 2-year deal. He apparently renegotiated, or the Heat went back and renegotiated with Vic. And it's now a 2-year deal, with this year being I think the first year was 1 year, 11 million. But now apparently it's a 2-year deal, and the number's been lowered a little bit to give the Heat a little bit more flexibility. Now, Albert Namad, who is a cap guru on Twitter, Heat fan cap guru. A lot of people feel like Albert Namad. I'm sorry to do this to you, Albert. A lot of people feel like it's Andy Ellisberg's burner account. Okay. No, I'm serious. Like, this guy is.
He's so good at it.
He's the cap guru of cap gurus. So a lot of people think it's Andy Ellisberg. He's denied this to the high hills. He's not Andy Ellisberg. But he says.
Andy Schmellisberg?
He says it's interesting. The Oladipo and Dedmon agreements were announced 25 minutes within each other. The only announcement since was Martin getting the mid-level exception money. So what happened that they couldn't initially foresee that caused them to need to renegotiate with Oladipo? Why is that?
Okay.
Why is that? What's going on? What's going on at 601 Biscayne Boulevard? What's going on with the Miami Heat?
What's going on in Utah?
What's going on? That is interesting, Albert. If the cap guru of all cap gurus is saying, what's going on with the Miami Heat? That Victor Oladipo all of a sudden got a little sweetener, you know? Basically got himself another guaranteed year just out of nowhere. That's in his control. Why is that? Why is that, Leroy? Is something happening? Is something cooking?
Something cooking. They needed to make room for that special dish that's
I don't know.
In the back.
I don't know. It does really.
I don't care. You know how I feel about Oladipo.
I know how you feel about Oladipo. And it sounds good for Oladipo. Now he's got an extra guaranteed year in his back pocket.
Yeah,
for a guy
I don't know. If he balls out.
If he balls out, he opts out and goes and gets the bag.
He controls that.
It's his option.
Year?
No, it's his.
Okay.
That's the thing that's interesting about it. What made them go back and say, hey, we'll lower this year a little bit, but second year, that's all you, Vic. If you want to come back, it's on you. So if something, God forbid, if something did happen to a guy who has injury history, he's got a guaranteed year in his back pocket if he wants
Can I ask a question? Do you have injury issues if it's the same injury and they ain't fix it?
Oh, it's not. Listen, it's an issue. It ain't.
It was one injury.
It's not his fault.
Right. You can't say a guy's injury prone if they mangled his leg.
I didn't say that he was injury prone. I said he had an injury issue.
Okay.
Which he did. But the point is, even with that being the case, he's got another guaranteed year in his back pocket.
Yep.
But it is interesting what Albert brings up. Why did they do that? Why is that? Why did they go?
I mean, first of all, would it matter to save $2 million?
Oh, dude, you say that. But Andy Ellisberg, every dollar matters to Andy Ellisberg. Because that's why they didn't want to bring back PJ Tucker. You want to know why? Because it hard caps you. You hard cap, you don't have the flexibility. If you were a jiu-jitsu artist, if you were the Hoist Gracie of the cap, you need as much flexibility as possible to put in an anaconda choke. If you need to wiggle some things on the cap, flexibility is very important.
Okay, now all of a sudden you're a gymnast because I don't see you being very flexible.
I'm talking about Andy. Cap guru.
Also,
if one cap guru who claims he's not Andy Ellisberg.
That's what I see Andy Ellisberg stretching, doing yoga.
He might. You don't think Andy Ellisberg can throw on the old gi? I think he choke your ass out like Joey Chestnut.
First of all, Andy Ellisberg is not a fighter.
Really? Right? I would not mess with him. He is giant.
I didn't think Joey Chestnut was a fighter.
Hey,
what is he? 6'7"?
He's a giant. He's taller than that.
He's a monster.
And the nicest guy, which kind of caught, like the first time I met him, I was like, whoa, I didn't see this. Right?
Because you think like Andy just brings in Pat, he goes, listen, Pat, Victor Oladipo, we're doing this thing. Got to give him a 2-year deal. Lower the number. He goes, what? Just let me do my thing. Right? And then he just goes back to his calculator. And they just let him do his thing because that's what Andy Ellisberg does.
I picture him like Rain Man, just spitting off numbers to Pat, just right off the top of his head.
Well, interesting yesterday, there's a new report with Donovan Mitchell. Could this be the move as to why they're finagling contracts? I did see that you did actually tag Kyle Lowry on the Cheeks
I did.
reel, though.
Hopefully
did he like it?
Nothing yet.
I don't know. Nothing surprising.
It reminds me of.
Oh,
when,
he didn't like it. He didn't like you making fun of his ass.
Yeah, it reminded me of. Didn't you say you went through your tweets recently and you tagged Hassan Whiteside as you were cursing him out or something like that? Like you said that you reviewed tweets from like.
Oh, I self-sanctioned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have to look back on my tweet. I didn't do that. I don't know if I've done that with Whiteside.
Yeah,
definitely have done that with Kyrie Irving.
Oh, just in case.
I got to see. I'm like, oh, well, what's in my past about this? You know, I gotta make sure because it was different days in the Twitter streets. Like
here's the difference between Tobin and me. Like I always, from being around sports long enough, know how things can go full circle, right? Tobin could give a rat's ass about full circle. If he ever comes in contact with somebody he blasted, he'll just use his old wiggle room expertise and wiggle his ass out of it. For example, Jimmy Butler mysteriously became may have. Right? Like
it was. By the way, funny enough that you mentioned that, Brett Brown did an interview recently, and he was talking about how it still haunts him that he wasn't able to make it work with Jimmy Butler. And I'm like, dude, damage is done, my friend. You're still haunted by it. It's over.
Late. Well, because he's probably wondering if he would have still had his damn job had he kept the players that helped him win instead of getting emotional.
Sexy Sauce says Kyle Lowry blocked him on IG. Now you might have a block coming to you soon, Marcos. Likely. You might want to see if you could even see Kyle Lowry on social media on Instagram now.
I'm gonna check it out.
He might if he doesn't come up in that search, it means you got blocked.
Come on, fingers crossed. You sure he has Instagram?
Oh, he's got Instagram. Did you get blocked?
No, I'm still good.
Okay, good.
Still good. Right. It's probably been training. He hasn't posted in a while.
Hey, you know what? I don't have that problem.
Someone's blocked you, dude. Publix.
No,
someone's blocked you.
I don't think Leroy's ever blocked.
In fact, I blasted AT&T and they responded.
Wow. Yeah. The only block of note that I've had recently is Odell Beckham. I don't really understand that one. That was very random.
What is that?
I don't know. Can't see Odell Beckham's tweets.
Wow.
The rest of them are pretty standard. Dan Gilbert. Everybody has that badge of honor. Steve Holman, voice of the Hawks. This just. See, I like to say those are just blocks that come with the territory.
Well, I guess I don't get blocked because I wouldn't follow any of them guys.
No, I don't follow them either. That doesn't matter. They can still block you.
Really?
Oh yeah. That's not how blocking works, Leroy. Let's see. Have I tweeted? Let's see. Let's see. Have I done anything for Hassan Whiteside? Nah. Most of them are pretty positive. He was kind of a funny meme. Then he,
You kind of loved Hassan Whiteside longer.
I did love Hassan Whiteside. I did. I'm not going to deny that. I did love Hassan Whiteside. Then he became a mope.
But you didn't like him because of basketball. You liked him because of koi fish.
I liked it for both. First of all, he burst onto the scene. He was blocking everything on the planet. Like that was.
He
cool.
had a triple-double with blocks.
Nobody's doing it with blocks.
Yep.
Nobody's doing it with blocks.
Except Hakeem, who actually had the only quadruple-double.
But then, but the thing is, the thing with Hassan Whiteside is he's just so aloof. Like he never understood why he wasn't a $100 million player from the get-go. He's just I just need the opportunity. And then,
or why people were so down on him when he was moping.
Yeah, and he also didn't understand why people wouldn't let him shoot. He was like, why won't you let me shoot threes? I don't understand. He didn't have the problem with if Hassan Whiteside, in some ways, the Heat are probably begging Bam, shoot your threes, dude, shoot. And Hassan Whiteside's like, come on, let me shoot. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Let me go. Let me ride, pony.
It's funny because no matter where he ended up, he still wasn't allowed to shoot them threes.
Let's see. September 26th, 2016. Oh, young Whiteside joins me and Leroy right now on 7-9 the ticket.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
We're in such a different place.
We are in a different place right now.
It's been that long? That's when we used to get a lot of guests because we were in midday.
That was
all the guests.
I would guess that was probably we probably taped that on media day or something like that.
We hey Marcos, we used to go on boats. We used to go to Vegas.
What?
We used to do we used to do Twin Peaks. On Fridays we would go to the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
I do have a lot of ats at LeBron James after he left.
There you go.
If he ever came back, if there was, I'd be like, man, I'd have to do a lot of scrubbing. Number one, that's never forget. It's him backing up JJ Barea.
What's wrong? Like, why do you do? Like, you know what? Because here's what happens. Tobin does stuff like that, and Leroy gets hit by shrapnel. Right? Come on.
One guy just says, "Holy crap, King James! You never responded to Riley's text." Why did I add him for that?
Yeah.
At King James, why did you make Riley fly across the country to beg when you knew you were leaving?
Did you think he was going to respond to you?
Why did I do that?
That's what you do.
And what time was that? Was that like during the show, or were you just up late, 8 p.m.?
I'll see. I can find out. It was at 8:06 p.m. Normal night.
Yeah.
No, just a normal night.
Like,
Just at your house at that point.
It was a year after he left, though.
Oh my God.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, dude.
That's when
where
Levitard was
Pope-
dropping the nuggets. Ooh.
That's about the time when Pope Petty was born.
Yeah, it's about right.
I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah, because we got all those details about him leaving Riley high and dry. Like it was just Levitard would just keep dropping nuggets about how LeBron was not nice to the Miami Heat, left and right, and he would just reveal something. It felt like every week Levitard was dropping something new about how he was a jerk to Pat Riley on the way out.
Well,
Because the initial the Heat were classy on the way out, the fans were classy to LeBron on the way out. Big ovation on Christmas. Oh yeah, dude. Big ovation on Christmas. Big tribute. Never thanked us, by the way. Never said, "Hey, thanks, fans, for having my back when everybody hated my guts." Never said it, but I digress. Let's not go down the path. Speaking of LeBron, a guy who rode his coattails to the top, Brian Windhorst. He had a thing or two to say about a thing or two regarding Donovan Mitchell. So Donovan Mitchell apparently went to the Jazz Brass. All right. Not Brass Jazz from Miami Heat beat, the Jazz Brass. And he went to them and said, "Hey, what's up with these moves we're making?" And this is what he had to say about that.
They
The
told him
message
stay in
that
his
the
lane.
Jazz are putting out into the world is we're not trading Donovan. I don't find the Jazz messaging credible because they said they were at the pre-draft camp, they were out there saying we're not trading Rudy or Donovan. But I think they have their price for Donovan too, and it behooves them to not put him on the block. From what I understand, Donovan was like, well, what's the plan here? You just traded away two players that were really helpful to us and, for draft picks essentially. And, the plan basically is we're going to do what's right for the franchise. They've saved $150 million and picked up 5 first-round picks in the last week. And in Danny Ainge and Ryan Smith's view, that's correct for the franchise. So if they deem the correct thing for the franchise is build around Donovan Mitchell with all those pieces and parts, they'll do that. If they believe the correct thing is trade you for another haul and start from scratch, then they'll do that.
There you go.
Well,
saying, what's up with these deals?
If that's what they're truly intending to do, then Donovan Mitchell will choose for them what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're making these moves without understanding the nature of the NBA right now, then somebody dropped the ball on this.
I don't think Donovan Mitchell wants to be Bradley Beal. Like that team's not going to be good if it's just
right.
Donovan
No,
Mitchell.
that's my point though. They know that if a player, if your star player is coming in there and asking why did we make these moves, even though one of the players is a guy he did not like,
right. What do we get for him?
And your answer is we're doing what's best for the team. That means stay in your lane, Donovan.
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, in the next couple of weeks, you might see something along on social media that says, I'm too far in my career to be rebuilding. And if that's the direction we're headed, I don't want to be here.
The interesting thing too is this is, I think, where ownership goes to Dwayne Wade and they're like, hey, can we sell something to Donovan Mitchell here? Like, can you sell him on him being cool? And I don't think Dwayne Wade's going to do that. Like, You can't have like Dwayne Wade. First of all, he's never been that during his career. Like even when LeBron was leaving, that dude kept it to the grave. He never knew when LeBron was. He's never said he knew when LeBron was leaving. Everybody's like, oh, I didn't know anything on that. Nobody believes Dwayne Wade when he says he was on that flight across the country with LeBron James. Remember the infamous video of them on the tarmac speaking? And it was the Heater reach out. Do you know if he's leaving? Do you know if he's leaving? Never say anything to the great. That guy's a good friend. All right. Doesn't say anything.
Right.
You can't be the face of player empowerment, which is what Dwayne Wade is essentially. All this player empowerment, he, LeBron, Chris Bosh, they are the face of that. Taking things into your own destiny, doing something wildly unpopular, and having everybody hate you for it. He's not going to be the guy who's going to tell Donovan Mitchell, hey, stick it out. Stick it out.
Right.
You know? It may be different because, like, you may say, oh, well, Dwayne Wade was with a team basically 17 of 18 years in his career. He's not gonna tell Donovan Mitchell. No. Because Dwayne Wade had success right away. He won a championship in year 3. All right. Eastern Conference Finals, years 2. So, no, I don't think he's going to tell Donovan Mitchell, hey, stick it out with us. I think he's going to tell Donovan Mitchell, do you, baby?
Exactly. But here's the kicker. When a person is saying stay in your lane, that sounds so very Danny Ainge-like.
Yes, it does.
Right?
Angels.
And he is a collector of draft picks. So if you're Donovan and all your friends will compete for championships and all your peers who are on the same level as you see them going, a lot farther in the playoffs than you, then why wouldn't you have questions?
The other thing that's interesting too, from the Heat's perspective with this, is obviously the big thing would be trading Tyler Herro. That would be the big centerpiece of a Donovan Mitchell trade. And I think that's interesting with Tyler is with the Caleb Martin news happening yesterday. Essentially, the last piece of business, if the Heat were to do the run it back, the last piece of business is what's going on with Tyler Herro's extension. Like what's going on with the money that he's going to get. And the interesting thing with Tyler is what does he want? Because he's made it very clear he wants to start. Like that's a big deal for him. Mm-hmm. If he were to go to the Jazz in essentially a rebuild, that would be his city. That would be his team. Like he would be the focal point of it. He would be getting all the shots. He would be intangibles face of the Jazz. He would be all of that. And I don't like it's an interesting thing with Tyler. Like he's done the good soldier thing with the Heat, but he very much wants to be thought of as one of the stars of the league. Does he want to still be part of this whole Heat culture? Because maybe the Heat ask him again, hey, we're going to start Max Strus and we're going to have you come off the bench. I don't think he's going to be cool with that.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be cool with that. And so
you think he has another year until Kyle Lowry?
That's an interesting thing. Like Tyler Herro would be if you went to Tyler Herro and said, hey, once Kyle's career comes to an end, then you start 2 more years, he's going into his 4th year.
Tyler Herro's it's 4 years.
Because remember, like a compressed season, isn't that crazy? Yeah, he's already got 3 seasons under his belt.
Again, the Heat do an incredible job of making you seem extremely selfish if you want something like that and you do it publicly.
I know. And this is a common thing throughout the league is NBA stars want their situations otherwise. We're not used to it with the Miami Heat.
But here's why. Because they pay him anyway. So even if you play a role, but you're a starter, they pay you accordingly.
Right, but still tell that to Duncan Robinson is saying here in the play afterwards on his podcast and is telling you guys, we were easier to defend without me. So while he was playing the good soldier,
he's right.
Well,
he's right from this standpoint. Yes, but they were also easier to defend when he wasn't making buckets.
But the point I'm making is right or wrong, he plays the good soldier in the season. But he's not happy about it. Everybody does this whole enjoy each other's success, and we do everything for the cause of the Heat. But it does have a limit. Like if you're not the star guys, if you're not Jimmy and you're not Bam, and you're not getting if you're not doing what the quote unquote sacrificing, if you're not doing that, it's gonna have its limit eventually. And so I do wonder for Tyler Herro, first of all, if with this whole extension thing, like what are they offering him? Does he feel slighted? Do we have a DeAndre Ayton situation? I don't know. I don't know how those negotiations are going. The early reports were they're not offering him the max.
Right.
And then would he be happier? 22 years old, basically still starting his career. Like going into year 4, you're that young, going to a place where he doesn't have to sacrifice. He doesn't have to be the guy, because if he's going to come here and they're not going to guarantee him, Pat Riley said, we're not guaranteeing you anything. Go earn it. Would he be happier going somewhere else and being Flip for Diamond Joel? I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you exactly. I know exactly this feeling. I remember early in my career when I felt I should be playing more, and it wasn't even a coach. The offensive line said, "Hey, this guy needs to carry the ball more," and that's kind of how it all took off. But as I got older, and I wanted to have more of a role, I started realizing when I got to Minnesota that you can still have the same amount of production. You're just not named a starter. And it's one of those things that you can only really accept once you have been a professional for a while. You see what I mean? Because when you look at a guy like Lemon Pepper Lou, or you look at a guy like was it called who's the sixth man for
Jamal
a whole
Crawford.
bunch? Jamal Crawford, right? I'm more than sure Jamal Crawford wanted to be a starter and could very easily have gone somewhere and started.
Mm-hmm.
He was that good. But he got comfortable in a role. He was still getting paid accordingly, and it's about maturity. I'm not mad at Tyler Herro for wanting to start.
I'm not mad at him either. I mean, like he did it. He did the role better than anybody could do it.
Right.
Scored over 20 a game coming off the bench. And essentially, like, look, he played starter minutes. He played in starter moments. It's not like he wasn't. It's you know, like it was like it's not like he didn't play important time for the Heat. But the fortunate narrative for him is he still has Charles Barkley up there saying, "Oh, he doesn't play against anybody. He plays against scrubs."
Right. But the most important thing with this whole thing is that you can't say he plays starter minutes and plays in crunch time and then say you're not going to give him a max, because that is to Tyler looking like, oh, if I was a starter, I would get the max.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
100%.
And all because even if he were playing the same amount of minutes, if you call his name at the beginning of the game, that makes him a max player versus what with the team saying we're not giving you a max just because of him starting. So as a young player, a player who hasn't played long enough to accept that fact, you putting kind of Tyler in a tough spot when you're basically telling him, oh, if you were a starter, you probably get the max.
Which is why I find this this thing fascinating with Wood, because we never see this with the would I be happier elsewhere? Would Tyler Herro be happier going to Utah, being the centerfold of that, being the centerpiece of that deal, being the face of their franchise essentially? Yes, in a rebuild, but
can you be more satisfied, but not necessarily richer, right? Because I think regardless of what he gets paid, he would probably be more satisfied with the role in Utah, even though he wouldn't be as successful.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't think that's crazy. We'll
take a quick break. Because he's young.
Yeah. He's young. 22.
Right.
22 going to be 23 in January. Like, yeah.